when we were talking earlier in the week and I told you about the Open Secret by Tony Parsons?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Hmm.
part of the reason I love this book is it's fucking like 50 pages and like every other like the back of the pages aren't even written on. So really it's like 25 pages of actual written
Why do you do
material.
that?
And it's not even like spaced like normally you press that button or whatever where it like evenly spaces so that like you have nice lines on both. It's not even done that. So it's like it's funny. Like but I like that because it's like this guy really isn't trying to like come off as anything pretentious. Like he's
Hmm.
like here's the open secret. It's open and like he just writes it down in 50 pages like as like it's developed for him anyways. Um
Hmm.
but yeah, but I really like Tony Parsons. I think he's one of the like he's considered neo Advaita, which is almost like a derogatory term, it seems. But
Hmm.
basically, I think people use neo Advaita. I'd actually have to look it up. I don't really know what people describe it as, but I think Tony Parsons and Jim Newman are considered neo Advaita, and people's like main hit against that is that it's very dismissive of people's like experiences. Like it's like um yeah, it's an illusion, which like
Hmm.
ultimately is they're right. It's true. It can be a potent pointer to like uh illustrate the illusory nature of the apparent happenings
Hmm.
in contrast to like what's like the source of emanation of their happenings. Like how is that energy looks like that? you
Hmm.
know, like
Hmm.
like if everything's just ubiquitous energy or like ubiquitous consciousness, like um how it like isn't it a miracle that like energy's doing that right now? Like
Hmm.
doing this right now? Like uh yeah, so like they do acknowledge the magic of it, but like people think that they're just very cold and dry and bland. But I did um underline a section that I actually wanted to read and get your reaction to because like I really liked this. It's just a couple of paragraphs.
Yeah.
Um Beyond all of our wishes and desires to create what we think we want, there is a hidden agenda, another and much more powerful principle of unconditional love that is continuously functioning, entirely inherent, but usually unrecognized. It is the very core of the living paradox. All of existence as we know it, within the limitations of time, is only a reflection of that hidden principle, which is continuously inviting us to remember what we really are. Within that reflection, there is no right or wrong, better or worse, but only the invitation. For whilst we remain locked within the experience of being separate individuals, having to negotiate with existence, we remain in a state of dreaming. In that dream state, all we do is governed by the law of opposites, in which all that is seen as positive is exactly equally balanced by its opposite. Through deep reflection, we come to discover that we are on a wheel in which everything repeats itself over and over again in different images. What we apparently create, we destroy, and what we apparently destroy, we recreate again. And despite what we might believe about free will and choice, we come to see that we are dream characters in a divine play, reacting and responding from a set of conditioned reflexes and belief systems. All of our dream world that we see as progressive comes with the parameters of this perfectly balanced and exactly neutral state, which serves only to reflect another possibility. We are the dreamers in this dream, which has absolutely no purpose other than our awakening from it. In reality, we are surrounded and embraced by unconditional love, whether we respond to it or not. Our experience in time sets up a perfectly appropriate manifestation, exactly suited in its grand happenings and tiny nuances, to the particular and unique needs of our reawakening. And however significant or insignificant we think our activities are, however talented, artistic, useful, ordinary, or fruitless we may feel our expressions in the world appears to be, all of this is simply and only a function of that hidden principle. A totally appropriate reflection, providing the never ending opportunity to enter into and beyond all phenomena and rediscover the source of its emanation.
Right on.
Pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Decent
No
summary, I
kidding.
would say. Decent
No
summary.
kidding.
Right? Like,
And even for how like simple and matter of fact, there's still a lot to unpack there. Like um for me anyway.
for sure. I mean, he's basically saying the entire illusion of reality is here to serve your awakening. It's here calling
Mhm.
you. I mean, uh, apparently you have free will to like either go with that calling or not, but it's that calling that we were talking about. It's that calling that
Mhm.
like you had when you like sat down with the tree. It's the calling that a lot of people have into like a non-dual experience, which he was saying that like neutral state. When he mentioned the neutral state, like that neutral state, sure, it's neutral, but he also acknowledged in there that it's like laced with unconditional love, which is so
Mhm.
true. Like people think that non-duality can be very dismissive of feelings or of like personal uh hardships or even personal triumphs. Like, they think that non-duality is very dismissive of that, but it isn't. It's inclusive of that. It's just saying you aren't that. It
Yeah.
includes that, but it's like that's not what it's pointing to. It's pointing to like that's an apparent happening, but look, this is who you are. This is what is the substance of that experience. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's actually inclusive of everything.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Well, and I think I mean like for one thing it's just that's what is always whether we're aware of it or not. Like that's
Right.
just the foundational thing. And then this is something I've been like kind of rolling around in my head and that what you shared and then your response to it also kind of like almost like brought two dots together for me. But like I think like in the past I would try almost like too hard or use to like get to that space of um non-dual or like kind of
A recognition of it.
into recognition of it or like almost like integrated awareness where like everything is just one is whole and or I would try going about it a certain direction, or a certain practice and or like I had to deny my feelings or like
Hmm.
the intensity of feelings to get there to find it. Like it was like those things were distracting from being aware of it. And I think also too in the past I would almost use it as like a means of suppressing uncomfortable emotions. Um, but it just now I've acknowledged like how in sometimes in like the depths of grief or amidst like really challenging life situations um those like really kind of human stuff like really like messy um big emotions also have been windows for that sense of wholeness and integration or like non-dual you know um somehow where so it's like it doesn't really to say but like you don't just get to those because it is always existing you know you wouldn't just get to it one way
Right.
like
Well, there's infinite doorways to the infinite.
exactly yeah
So,
and
so
and for me like kind of like time traveling to a very objective kind of aerial view can get me there but then also traveling down into the depths of like painful or messy human experience gets me there too
yeah, they're
and i
yeah,
think
they're
i
all
almost
gateways.
and I think I almost do better like continuously moving through for through both of them
Yeah, I'm not sure
you
if that,
know?
if that's because we're like experiencing the a biological apparatus, and like basically everything biology that we see goes through cycles and rhythms and seasons, depending upon your nature. But like I think the human is the same thing. Like this infinite consciousness is channeling itself as this body, and I think this body makes that infinite consciousness appear in a multitude of ways,
Hmm.
and so like all of these expressions are gateways to the infinite, or back to the infinite.
Hmm. Definitely.
I have so many things that I want to talk with you about. I really want to talk about Chat GPT, by the way. Dude, I
Oh yeah.
I typed in um like, what is the experience of enlightenment, or what is the experience of the absolute universal consciousness, and like it gave some very interesting answers that we should really review, we should really talk about, because like I'm not like I'm obviously not a tech dude, but my understanding is that it's basically scrubbing the entire internet of, and like it doesn't do like any like super weird stuff,
Hmm.
like obviously I think like the internet's like 80% porn or something like that, but like there's like
Believe it.
like for example, it's like it, it took out all like the sexual stuff, for example, so like it's not the entire internet, which is probably good
Hmm.
because people would just ask Chat GBT to suck their dick or something. But but like if you ask it like really interesting questions, it's basically scrubs the internet and forms like a very coherent paragraph. Or if you ask for a table, or if you ask for bulletproof, you ask for 20 things, list me 20 uh different ways to the absolute, it'll have something, like it'll give you 20
Really?
different things. Yeah, uh like I haven't done that specific question, but like if you ask it large questions, it actually has coherent and good answers somehow. It's
That's wild.
crazy. Yeah. But they also programmed it to like, if you ask it, "Are you conscious?" It's very much upfront about being like, "No, I am not conscious. I am merely an algorithm doing this, and this, or whatever." But
Yeah.
so it's interesting, but it is like a frontier, and like, um, it'll be very interesting to see what kinds of things it comes up with. It's even on the non-dual and awakening side of things that like the human mind can't necessarily get to, but maybe a fucking you know uh a universal computer mind can, if it's uploaded everything from 8 billion people,
Yeah.
at some point it's going to be able to really understand what like the ubiquitous form and feeling of 8 billion people is, and we'll be able to ask that.
Yeah, man. That's that like there's a lot of directions that I think about relating to that. Like I I don't know, and I have no idea. It's just like I mean, some of my like prayer stuff, I definitely um and I lump it in with like the earth category, but I definitely like include like technology spirits,
Mm.
you know, as like
Yeah.
entities.
Yeah, why not? Why would you cut
Um
them off from that? They're like clearly like apparently here, so like they're clearly an outgrowth of the universal consciousness that we are as well.
yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm like I'm really curious as to like what that would look like, especially as it develops on its own. Because my initial thought was just like it's our brain, like our brains are already simulation machines,
Hmm.
you know, and that like awareness and also like for me, real like wisdom learning happens in that space where the mind is not that active, you
Hmm.
know. So then I'm like, what is like a machine brain gonna be like? But then also the fact that like some of those don't learn the same way as a human mind learns, as like the mechanical intellect side, you know?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I have no fucking idea. It's just, it's like exciting and scary and weird and like I don't.
It's very weird, dude. You should really get like log on and like ask us some questions. And like one of the things I was gonna do with you on on this go around was actually like type out what is enlightenment and like see what it comes up with. But maybe we'll save that for like another one. Yeah, I'm sure this thing will like evolve over time and like morph and mold like into something. But like the fundamentals of it are is nice to talk to you like more than we were because like we can not talk literally for like I feel like a decade, like 10 years, and
Yeah,
then just like see each other the next day as if like no time has passed at all. Like we just have that relationship, but like it is nice to make these things happen too.
yeah. I was just talking to folks in the shop. I was like, yeah, like one of my best friend, like my best friend, you like we'll go maybe months without speaking to each other,
Yeah.
and then we'll like randomly just pick up where we left off. And yeah, we're not mad, like we're not upset about it or anything. Like,
Yeah, dude, Takara asked me like, "When was the last time you talked to Luke or Ben?" And I was like, "This was like a couple weeks ago," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, maybe like a couple months or something." She's like, "They're your best friends," and I was like, "Yeah."